Building wealth is like training for the Olympics. It's an art requiring patience, perseverance, with slow but steady progression. And just like Olympic training, you kind of have to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you might not see the results you're looking for despite all of your hard efforts. And the first thing you have to do when you're planning to build out your wealth is eliminate these 5 negative money habits that hinder you from achieving financial success. Let's find out what they are together so we can avoid them in our financial future. Welcome back to Daniel's Brew, where I cover personal finance, investing, and career development topics. So, jumping right into it, the first negative money habit that keeps you from building your wealth is saving money. That's right, saving money is one of the biggest money habits that can keep you poor. So then what are you supposed to do instead of saving your money? Well, the answer is to invest it. You see, one of the core principles of the wealthy is to always have your money working for you. When you stash your money into a low-yield savings account, all you're really doing is burying it into the ground and letting it sit there until you dig it back up. But when you find a method of prudent investment, you're putting your dollars to work for you to go out and recruit other dollars to be part of your overall wealth army. Let's take, for example, investing in the stock market as your investment avenue of choice. If you look back historically at the past 50 years, the Dow Jones Industrial Average has had a yearly return rate of 8.6% on average for each year. That means if you invested $10,000 into a Dow tracking index in 1970 and have simply forgotten about it until now, January 2021, your $10,000 would now have been turned into $360,000. But if you'd left that money in a savings account with an average annual interest yield of 0.05% for those same 50 years, then your $10,000 would have only grown to be about $10,253. You would have missed out on over $349,000 of gain. And that's why for me, I have over 70% of our family's liquid assets invested in a variety of well-researched and calculated investment options within the stock market. As long as you make the right choices within the market, it can be one of the most straightforward and passive ways of building wealth in the long term. If you'd like to learn more about how I choose which equities to invest in, check out my Beginner's Guide to the Stock Market playlist here. The next habit that keeps you from building wealth is not budgeting your finances. The difference between celebrities or pro athletes that make millions of dollars but end up retiring broke, and the average middle-class worker that builds up a large nest egg over time and retires comfortably, is only prudent financial planning. You see, it doesn't really matter how much money you make in the long run. What really matters is how much money you keep. And the most important thing when it comes to keeping more of your money is meticulous tracking and assigning of your money to different tasks through a budget. You see, when money is told what to do, it can become an incredibly efficient helper on your path to reaching your financial goals. But if you don't discipline your money, if you don't teach it how to become a useful member of your financial organization, then it can be one of your greatest sources of stress and anxiety. The key to retirement and financial freedom is not saving up a huge amount of money and then simply eating away at it, hoping that it lasts until you die. The real key is teaching your money to earn more money on its own, and then finding out how large of an army of money you need in order for them to bring in enough incremental gains on a regular basis to replace your main source of income. If you establish a core position of wealth that can generate income on its own, then you can potentially live off of that core position for the rest of your life, and then even pass that off to your children later on. Once you've done that, assuming you've taught them the proper ways of budgeting and planning their money as well, your children will then start their contributions to this core position, which will make it grow even bigger and bring in even more incremental returns over time. You see, that's how generational wealth is built, and that's why the ultra-rich in this country will never truly become poor, as long as they continue to prudently budget and manage their core wealth positions. At number 3, along the same lines as habit number 1 and 2, a poor or unhealthy attitude towards money is one of the biggest factors that will prevent you from building wealth. I want you to look at these two statements. Money is the root of all evil. Poverty is the root of all evil. Can you tell the difference between them? They both revolve around cash or wealth, or at least the lack thereof, but the biggest difference between the two is the situation or perspective from which they're spoken. Generally, the rich see poverty as the root of all evil, and the poor see money as the root of all evil. The basis behind this mindset is that for the poor, not having money is a huge deal, as it represents a lifeline, a means of happiness, safety, security, and support. But for the wealthy, having money is simply a tool, something that provides utility or function. Let me give you an example. When you're hanging off of a cliff, this rope can be the most important thing. It consumes your focus because without it, you have the sense of falling to your death. And you'd do anything to protect this piece of rope. to make sure that it doesn't wear or tear even in the slightest way. But when you're on solid ground, this rope is nothing more than an item that'll help you complete your task. And when you put it to good use, even if it becomes worn, you'll end up producing the results you wanted. You see, depending on the situation you're in, an object can become a critical life dependency, or it can simply be a tool that helps you complete a task. And when it comes to finances, adopting the latter mindset will help you start to see money only as a means to an end, like a digital assistant, whose only purpose is to carry out your orders and help you accomplish your goals. Now, everyone knows that smoking and excessive drinking are not only detrimental to your body, but also to your financial budget. On average, a habitual smoker who smokes at least 1 pack of cigarettes per day spends on average $2,244 on cigarettes per year. And the average heavy drinker who consumes more than 15 drinks per week shells out an average of $3,120 on alcohol per year. Now, that's quite a bit, and if you happen to do both, well, that's pretty much 5 iPhones you're throwing away each year. But did you also know that high sugar intake and general obesity can also drain your wallet as well? This goes beyond just the obvious consumption costs. Let me give you an example. Approximately 84 million adults in the US, or 34% of the population, have prediabetes. Prediabetes means you have higher than normal blood sugar levels, but it's not yet high enough to be considered type 2 diabetes. But without a lifestyle change, these adults may eventually develop full-blown type 2 diabetes. And did you know that when you get an yearly physical checkup and your doctor determines that you have type 2 diabetes, as a policy, they're required to report that to your health insurance company? This means that your insurance premiums are likely to go up and it would cost you more to maintain your same coverage. But avoiding this situation isn't really difficult. According to the CDC, prediabetes is reversible. You can delay or even prevent prediabetes from developing into type 2 diabetes with simple, proven lifestyle and dietary changes. And this is just one example. There are many more medical situations just like this one. The more unhealthy conditions you have on your record, the more expensive your insurance can become. So the takeaway here is that healthier living lifestyles can help you avoid unnecessary costs, thereby helping you retain more of your wealth. And the last negative money habit on this list is poorly managing your debt. Wealth building can't happen until you get full control of your debt. It's one of the most fundamental things you need to account for when building out your financial plan. Poor debt managers will simply get by with paying off the minimum required payment amount each month, whereas motivated and mindful financial planners will work to pay off incremental principal each month, knowing that that'll reduce the core borrowed balance, thereby reducing their interest payments and the length of their debt. Poor debt managers will utilize their credit cards to the limit and sign up for every new offer that comes their way, while mindful financial planners will carefully monitor their credit utilization, knowing that they'll need to protect their overall credit score. And poor debt managers will always aim to keep up with the Joneses, borrowing money to upgrade all of their cars, electronics, and the like. While mindful financial planners will always live below their means, knowing that their decision is helping them to build up their core position, allowing them to get that much closer to financial freedom and creating generational wealth. Managing debt is one of the hardest things to do, but trust me, it'll be one of the most worthwhile things you engage in when it comes to your financial success. So there you have it. Those are the top 5 money habits that'll keep you poor. Now, I know this isn't a fully comprehensive list and that there are many other money habits that can be detrimental in your financial journey. But from my vantage point, these are the 5 that if you correct, could potentially have the greatest impact to your financial success in the future. So if you found this video helpful or entertaining, then make sure you hit that like button so that YouTube surfaces this video to more viewers like you. And if you'd like to share this video with your friends and family, simply hit the share link on the title bar of the video just above the subscribe button. And if you'd like to check out more of my personal finance videos, then click here to access that playlist. So that's it for this one. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you next time on Daniel's Brew.